Good day to you. So if you're checking this out, you might be just wondering a little bit about how the Electrostatics Lab is going to go. I want to show you guys a little bit of the procedure for what we're actually using. And we have a whole bunch of materials because there's going to be sort of these different parts to it. And we're going to start off with grabbing the tape. Once I got the tape, I'm going to need to stick a little piece of tape. It doesn't need to be too long, just a few inches, to the table. But before I do that, I want to make a little handle on one end, so I can do that by folding the end over and sticking it to itself so that this side of it isn't sticky anymore. So now I can stick this onto the table, stick it nice and good. That way I have this nice handle here, so I can just grab that and rip it off instead of having to, at the end of class, try and edge up all of the tape. And now I can just pull it up. Once you've got your piece of sticky tape, you're going to add it to this thing. Here's my piece of tape I just pulled off of the table. And I want to stick it to this dowel thing, just like so. Part of it's kind of sticking out a little bit. And then we'll bring things close to it. And I'm not going to do it now, but you guys can observe what happens with it. In the next section, you're going to just kind of combine that with something else. So you're going to put down what we call a base layer of tape. You're going to add another handle. And you'll have a couple of people do this in your tribe. So I'll put down my base layer, and I'm going to add 2 more pieces of tape on top of this. We have a bottom piece. You'll see why it's bottom in just a second. So when I put this one down, I want to put it on top of the other one. So it's just on the other tape and not on the table, at least as much as you can. And before I put the top tape on, I would want to label this with a B using a Sharpie or a pencil or something for bottom. And then I'll put my top tape on, also giving it a handle. So the top one goes on top of the bottom one, which is on top of the base. I've got 3 pieces of tape here. I want to grab the bottom piece, not the base. I'm going to leave the base on. I'm just going to pull the top 2 off, making sure I got to add a T on the top one so I can differentiate it from the bottom one after I've pulled them off. I'm going to slowly peel off the top and bottom 2, leaving the base there. And now I've got the top and the bottom, which I can pull apart quickly. Then these 2 I will also add onto that little dowel thing I had with my first tape. Once you've got your tapes hanging from there, and I don't have them here, I've got the old one here, and you've played with them a little bit, it's going to ask you to try and test out an acetate. So we've got this clear piece of plastic. I don't know if you can even see it on this thing. This is the little piece of acetate, and it says that if you charge it with wool, there is one here, it's the dark fabric. We're going to charge it with wool. Charge this thing, you want to rub it, and you want to rub it pretty hard. So grab it like you would be sandpapering something and just put through the wool. You can do that a couple times. And once you've done that, then you can check to see what happens when you bring this close to the pieces of tape, both the top and the bottom pieces. There's some other things in your box that you can try too, like there's this glass rod. Now you got to be careful where you put this, because if you just put it on the table, it's liable to roll off and then shatter, and that's not going to be good. Then you're going to be cleaning up glass shards everywhere. So hang on to it. If you need to put it down, make sure it goes back into your blue bin so it's not rolling off, killing people with it. Glass rod, and then we've got a white fabric. This is silk. We're going to see what happens if you charge the glass rod with silk. And you can try different things. In addition to the glass rod, there's going to be a little piece of black plastic rod. See what happens if you charge that with silk. You can try different combinations. See what happens if you charge the glass rod with some wool or the plastic rod with wool. Anyway, see what kinds of things will interact with the tape and with each other in different ways. There might also be some additional plastic. There's this black kind of plastic, a little bit different than the acetate and a little bit different from your the plastic rod. So you're going to make a little table to see how things interact with the top and bottom tape. Next thing that they're going to have you do is grab one of these containers. It's going to be in your blue bin. It's got a graphite covered ball, and it's on a little piece of string. If you pull it out, here's my little graphite covered ball. It's pretty light. It's kind of like styrofoam coated in graphite. If you need to, you might need to lift this thing up a bit. You want to go to a spot where there should be a little hole on the end of one of the strings, and you can just slide it on the end of this rod. At the bottom, we've got the little ball hanging down, and you're going to see what happens if you hold different kinds of charged objects. Remember all the interactions you had. What happens if you bring them close to this thing and just observe what happens? The last thing you get to play with in the box is an electroscope. And so here's what it kind of consists of. You've got the steel ball connected here to two pieces of foil that are sort of hanging off. It's all sort of encased in glass. Just leave the glass in there. You're going to see what happens as you bring different kinds of objects that you've given a charge to. Sometimes it'll direct you to actually touch it, the ball. Sometimes it'll just have you bring it close to it. And you're going to observe what's happening with the foil here. Hopefully this will help us to get a sense of what is happening at that tiny particle level. And maybe you'll be able to make some predictions about what kinds of charges things have once you know what charge is in this electroscope. Good luck.